Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin. There's some interesting developments that have occurred over the last 24 hours, things I think you absolutely must know about. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe. If you haven't joined us in Discord and missing a trick, check it out, linked in the description down below. Let's jump right down into this one, keep it to the point. Here we can see all the recent thumbnails of kind of the videos that we've been doing. Let me move that back. And yeah, basically this holds me accountable of what we're saying on the channel and making sure that you guys are aware, right? So we're recently calling for $30,000. This is actually something that's pretty much I was expecting from over here on the 6th of April. So almost a week ago, and then we finally kind of got there with the 30k getting hit. Now, obviously, I still think there's a little bit more of a push to the upside, but we'll put another thumbnail on here and hold myself accountable to today's video as well. Let's actually jump down into the on-chain data, because this is where the meat of this data that I think you have to know really comes from. So if we come into here, we can take a look at the top level, right? We can see there's a spike with more Bitcoin going onto the exchanges over a larger 30-day period. We can see that here. We can also acknowledge that since the 1st of January 2023, we've had 2.9796 million going onto the exchanges, with 2.9636 million coming off the exchanges, meaning that the exchanges have a positive amount of 15.95 thousand on the platforms. Okay, so again, this isn't to say it's overly bearish or overly bullish. This is leaning more towards the bearish side as more Bitcoin is being made available to sell. It creates an imbalance between the supply and the demand. So we should be a little bit cautious there. Now, as we kind of progress on, if we were to take a look at those inflows and those outflows, as I said, right, 2.97 million going onto the exchanges since the 1st of January 2023. If we were to kind of compare this to the start of the previous bull market, which was the 1st of January 2019 up to the current date, which would be the 11th of April, we can see that there was 4.94 million going on and 4.92 million coming off. So we know we're about 2 million short in terms of the volume from this time round versus what was going on and what was occurring in the previous start of the bull market from 2019. And this is a concern because obviously lower volume, yet the price is pumped up quite significantly. It's very unusual, unless of course it's manipulation, which we're kind of talking about yesterday afternoon. So essentially, to me, it looks like we should be concerned here that price has moved up so rapidly, yet the volume is about 2 million Bitcoin short of what was going on previously. Okay, and yes, the pricing is going to have a degree of change. The price of Bitcoin being significantly different than what it was previously, but the volumes nonetheless should be reasonably similar. And the reason that the volumes are so low is because institutional money just simply isn't really backing any of these moves. Now, as we come on up into the wallet counts, we can see that Bitcoin dust has started to take some profits, or starting to come out, right? Bitcoin hit 30k, and it's starting to kind of really take a bit of a dive to the downside. Like I've said before, Bitcoin Dust, this is a wallet that has over 0.01 Bitcoin in it. I've often referred to as the most vulnerable retail investor. So we should be concerned here, or actually, quite happy that these guys are taking profits at this point, because they would have taken profit. I don't think they would have been making a loss here, personally. But, again, we're starting to see a little bit of a shakeout at that lower level. Now, as we come up into the retail wallets, what do we see? Well, we can see dolphins, they're taking their profits. Okay, they're coming out of the space right now, and there's a lot of fear around these guys. And these are your high net worth individuals. These guys have 10 Bitcoin or more, right? And you can see that these guys are coming out. Now, you can't see the same for the shrimps or the krill. You can kind of see there's a little bit of selling pressure here, but nothing terribly too much. And retail continues to kind of hold as that price has surged upwards. Okay, but we're seeing a nice pullback now with the dolphins. Okay, they're starting to sell, which is interesting. Now, as we come up into the larger size wallets, this is really where stuff starts to really kind of cement in. We can see the Bitcoin sharks, over 100 Bitcoin, complete nosedive at this point, right? They're selling their Bitcoin to anyone who's willing to buy it, up in this higher range here. Okay, so Bitcoin hits 30K and we can see that these guys are coming down. The whales are also on the decrease, but there is a slight increase with the Kraken by one wallet. Okay, basically going from 120 to 121. But if we take a look at the sharks in a little bit more detail, we can see they're really coming all the way back down to where they were pre this pump in November 2022. Now, does this give you confidence in thinking that we're in a bullish market when you're seeing so many large wallets such as 100 Bitcoin per wallet decreasing like this and at a very rapid rate? So they're obviously trading to the upside, right? They're buying down in the November lows, and now they're almost all the way back down. So as you can kind of see here, there were 15,756 wallets in November, and they're right now there's 15,795. Okay, so we can see that there is a significant, decrease in wallet counts, and it's very, very close. There's only about 40 wallets in it now between these two lows, right? And basically, I'm thinking that we're going to see much deeper in terms of the depths of the shark-based wallets. So again, not giving us confidence in thinking that we're in a bullish market. You wouldn't be selling at 30K unless you're expecting a massive turn to the downside, which with the FOMC minutes, CPI data, unemployment rates, and various other interest rates around the world, I do think there's going to be a few different things that could spook the market this week. So yeah, it is what it is, and we can kind of see it right here. Let me know what your thoughts are on this one. Personally, I think this is a sign that things are about to turn for Bitcoin. But obviously, you know my stance on this and my position on this, as I try to make it very, very clear. I don't think we're in a bull market. I think we're in a bear market rally, and I do expect a new lower low personally. And I expect this not just because we're seeing some fluctuations within the wallet counts, but it doesn't make logical sense that we have people like these whale wallets with over 1,000 Bitcoin selling at the bottom here in November. I mean, the wallet counts up here were 2,103 when the bottom was in, and yet they continue to sell into the move to the upside down to 2,002 wallets, and then they basically are still continuing to move down. So, and just like in June, why would they be selling a bottom unless, of course, they anticipated a new lower low? So if you follow the money and you follow the logic of it, essentially it doesn't make sense that they will be buying at premium pricing, specifically around 30K right now. And if we're in a bullish market, you would actually see these guys either selling into a pump or accumulating at the lows and basically seeing transfers. What you'd actually see is retail investors coming out and whale investors going in, and we don't see that. We see the opposite way around, which just tells me that this is not a bullish market. Now, that's my 2 cents on it. Let's jump back down into our data for all the charts, I should say, and just give a quick review, right? So at the moment, we still have the ability to push up higher, in my opinion. And there's a couple of different ways it can go. But ultimately, looking at this, it looks like we've done a short, quick correction right in here. And we should be getting ready for a move upwards. And I think we've done a correction in here as well. So it could be a diagonal that we actually experience here at the end. Meaning that if I find these anchor points, yeah, it could be an expanding. If we go ahead and throw that in here. Like so. So we can be looking for a big wave 3 and wave 5. Wave 5 should be the biggest one, and it could come later on. We don't know when that's going to be. We could experience volatility, but it'll be essentially an A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 job, and we'll look at it maybe something like this. Should be 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 by the end, but we'll keep an eye and see how that kind of goes. Essentially, I think there's a small move to the upside here before we finish this entire structure. And then we can start talking about a move to the downside. From a smart money concepts point of view, we hit our expectations around that 30K. So we're talking 29,953 to 30,640. That's within our 1 to 1.236 fib levels. We've done this. I still expect a slight higher push here, but you can see that there's a lot of fair value gaps on this one that we will be, let me bring that back up. We'll be looking at looking to fill those out at some point in the future. So yeah, I'm looking at a bearish turn. We're overbought on the weekly, daily, 8 hour. I think the 4 hour corrected briefly. Yeah, it started to come down a little bit. but the hourly is still looking for a move to the upside. I expect that kind of the volatility on these smaller timeframes, but the macros are now very clear. We should be looking for a move to the downside overall. And essentially, I think that's where this market is heading. We've got no reason to think that the economy is in a good state. Ultimately, we're looking for new lower lows, probably potentially when the market pivots. As historically, the stock market usually has a correction when the Fed actually pivots, which is illogical based on kind of people's sentiment, but it is what it is, and you can see that within the data. Ultimately, people are using that as an opportunity to exit from a bear market rally. Once that pivot has happened and once that initial crash is over, then we're in the bullish market. So join us in Discord. I think Chris has some interesting infographics on that one that will show you everything that is going on. I think he also did a video on his podcast channel explaining what is going on there as well. I'm going to leave this video right there though, guys. If you found it useful and informative, smash that like button. Really do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.
We are not financial advisors, and none of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.